Welcome to the Early Risers Club Presents podcast. We originally recorded these episodes of Season 1 in March of 2020 at the very beginning of the coronavirus pandemic and lockdown. We hope you enjoy the conversations we had with the artists as we talk about the stories behind the songs and the process that went into making them.
All right, woohoo!
Early Risers Club presents with Bruce McIver,
Carly Bear,
and special extra super duper guest, Jimm McIver.
Hello, friends.
Oh, yay!
Hey, Jim.
Wow, look at us
doing?
in 3 different cities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're well. I was about to say tri-coastal, but that's not true. We're bi-coastal.
Yeah, we're in the ATL, the PDX, and the SEA.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got probably 3 extra cups of coffee in me because of the time difference.
Right. Yeah.
I'm a little fidgety, and if you, Carly knows this, but I'm a notorious chair rocker. So,
Yeah. Tell the people at home how you're rocking in your chair.
I see you right now rocking in your chair.
I just rock back and forth. Might make you dizzy.
The first time it was a little distracting.
The worst part is if I'm holding the phone and rocking, because then you just see the whole background move, and that's the worst. That's why I have to set the phone.
Yeah, that's vomitous.
Yeah.
Jim, how you doing?
I'm good. It's Saturday morning here, day number double digits of the quarantine, probably, something like that.
I want to mention just really quickly, I had a dream when we started this that it was going to be, timeless and not, necessarily referencing like specific moments in time, but it's kind of unavoidable at this point because part of why this is happening when it's happening is because we're all under various degrees of quarantine because of the coronavirus. So cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, I mean, we had the idea to do it, but the whole quarantine just gave us the time.
Right,
and
exactly.
It gave us all our friends and their time because everyone has time to do it. And it's...
Yeah.
Right. Well, there'll be a bunch more babies 9 months from now. But podcasts have a shorter gestation period.
Well, not random. There won't be so many random babies, for the one-night stand hookup crowd.
Right.
But in terms of, like, couples already kind of coupled.
Oh, my God. You guys just froze up for a second there. There you go.
Could be a roommate situation, too. You never know. Are there such things as B-side podcasts? The ones that get released later?
Yeah. This is the B-side to the podcast that everyone heard.
This is the Died on the Vine podcast.
Right.
Oh, man. I can't wait to introduce that segment. When's that going to happen?
Oh, soon.
Soon. Not soon enough.
We've got ideas. We've got plans for this podcast.
Died on the Vine is something that we haven't figured out how to execute yet. But it's going to be like songs that didn't get released on the album. Or
cool.
songs that like started getting written but never got finished.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I know. So we're probably going to have everybody who's been a guest so far back to do a segment when it's time.
Yeah, the little nuggets of the what ifs or what could have been and the never was.
How about...
Or maybe they were, but they just never got heard. So.
I'm going to lay a steel bridge, or rather a dark song mystery on y'all. There's a song written in 2011.
Suspense.
That has disappeared forever.
What?
Yeah, it was called Somebody Has to Die. I wrote it with James and Megan. I wish I could remember the lyrics and I'd hum it to you, but anyway, that's just a little...
That's a little
side note. Something to throw in the hopper.
Died on the Vine little teaser.
Yes.
So, Jim.
Yes.
I would like to know how you started getting involved in the festivals. When was how did you get introduced to all this craziness?
Yeah. So, I am, as we all are, good friends with Joe Kafton, who is who lives in Seattle now, but grew up in Green Bay, and who also spent summers in Door County and was aware of Pat McDonald And I'm not sure exactly on the timeline, but at some point he would go see Pat's bands play, and then they ended up later on getting to know each other, and Pat came out to Seattle, and I actually met Pat about 15 years ago when he toured out here in the Northwest. But anyway, around 2005 or 6, I guess it was, Joe started talking to me and Andrea Whitkins and Vincent Gates about this cool festival that we needed to go to. And at the time I had was just about to have my first son. And so the next 5 years was like babies and no chance. And then Andrea went in 2010, and we played a gig together out here right afterwards. And she just was like glowing about the whole thing and talking about all the characters and James Hall, you got to meet James Hall. And yeah. And so I just sort of put it in my head that I needed to start really thinking seriously about making it happen. And then she went to Dark Songs in 2010, and then it was kind of all over. She was clearly like...
smitten kitten.
Smitten kitten, yeah. So anyway, so then I just talked to my wife about it, and at the time thinking, like, there's no way this is going to work, really. But we figured it out.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Anyway, so 2011, that's my story.
And it was Steel Ridge. Was Dark Songs? Oh, no, you said Dark Songs was already
Steel
happening.
Ridge 2011, and then Dark Songs 2011.
Nice. I just like hearing how people sort of end up here, because on a fairly regular basis, I think about like just all of the little puzzle pieces that had to be put exactly in place for us all to know each other. And like, I can't imagine what life would be like if like any one of those tiny little interactions had gone differently.
I know. I sometimes freak out a little bit when I think about, when I trace back just my life in general, like there's all these key little points where, things would have been very different. Mm-hmm. If I hadn't stopped by the music store, and then another guitar player was in there, and we met, and that created a band, which was like my first band for 5 years, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then all the people I met through that band are now basically compose my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even just small little what if changes, like what if Pat McDonald had seen that email right away and had talked to you, like would you have been in a different point in your life, even if it was just like weeks or months?
Yeah.
Those kinds of things can just have such a huge impact,
Mm-hmm.
Butterfly effect. I mean,
hell, it took,
it is.
Yeah, totally. Because it took me years to get up there, I mean, I wasn't having a kid that I know of, but like the idea sounded great, but yeah, it's just, take a week off of work.
I know.
Or get away from your life and your family to do this other thing. But yeah, once certain elements, planets and stuff align, then it just kind of changes everything. You're introduced to these people and this process, and priorities shift, I think, internally, like on a creative level. Yeah,
suddenly you're like, how am I going to fit everything else in around this, as opposed to the other way around?
like holy crap. I always call it the sandbox. And that's just the creative opportunity of, holy shit, I can do this stuff and play in the sandbox with all these other people. I want to go back. I want to stay in it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the coolest thing is there's so many, like everyone's on the same page, It's not like you're trying to put a band together and there might be questions about like, oh, is this person really into the band or whatever? It's everyone's on the same page. Everybody wants to do the same thing, and everyone brings an equal amount of passion to it, which is, bands just spontaneously form.
Yeah. And it's
hot target.
It's right. And it's that infectious nature. It's easy to get roped in, especially when you're up there. And I'm really interested in what we take home from it and how that infectiousness changes our day-to-day approach to whether it's music or even just things outside of music and the arts, like the certain sense of collaborative effort, whether it's in relationships, family, work, when you're able to kind of be objective and not so focused on yourself, but collaborating in life is kind of key to everything. It's all negotiation,
Yeah, the collaboration element. I'd never really collaborated before I came up here.
To me, collaboration, and that's one of the great things that I always think about the festival, is that collaboration for me was like old school, you know, the guitar player is playing this new part he has, and then you sing over it and improvise until you have a song.
Right.
And then generally speaking, the bass player and the drummer are sitting there bored until you figure out what the hell you're doing. But I'd never done like, you know, what I imagined to be like what they were doing in the Brill building or whatever, you know, sitting in a cubicle writing a song. I mean,
right.
With the intention of like, okay, we're going to write a song starting now. You know, that is the experience that really is amazing to have, and then to have one after another throughout the week. And I was going to say, Bruce, that as far as taking it away back into your life, like when you write and record and then perform 3, 4, 5 songs in a week and then play on other stuff or whatever, it's hard not to take that back and have a heightened sense of what is possible, you know? And so even though you miss all your homies and it can make the process of writing solo then seem grueling, but still you just kind of like, okay, yeah, this is how you write a song. And if I just get out of my way, you can write 3 or 4 songs in a week, you know?
Right. Yeah. Learning how to get out of your own way. That's just a great way to put it. And that's what I think is universal, just, you know, outside of even music. You know, having an understanding of, wow, if I get out of my own way, and of course, if everyone did, it would make it easier too, you know, and luckily at the holiday, everyone's on that same page. So yeah, it's easy. But, you know, in the real world, holy crap, if everyone just understood and thought the way we did, it would be easy.
Well, I think, I don't know, I'm going to be, I'm going to interject there because you need some element of friction. You know, like you can't just like, you know, grease your way through life and have no obstacles. But at least the obstacles that present themselves at the holiday, and then the lessons that you take into the world at large, you know, it's how to mitigate the obstacles that you do face so that you can, like, I've always thought that the real task of these collaborative songfests is cracking the other person or the other people's not personalities. That makes it sound like a psychological hack, but figuring out how they work and what makes them tick. And the song,
speaking the language.
If you get a song out of that, that's sort of the fringe benefit. It's like, oh, cool. You know, we figured out how to work together enough to create something. But it's really just understanding how to connect with people that you might not have any sort of overlap in your respective Venn diagram. Yeah,
absolutely. And yeah, it's really easy to, and I think that's good that we're getting into this, to gush over it, because it is just this amazing thing. And in hindsight, of course, we always come away from festivals with that post-show blues we always talk about and whatever. And then you look back on this wonderful thing. But there are very painful times for me personally during writing. You know, there's pain, there's stress. You know, it's like when you try to explain this to people, as I'm sure you guys know, back in the real world, it's very hard. And I can even get defensive about, you know, because people tend to think of it as like, oh, it's band camp, you know.
Or vacation.
Right.
Which, and I know some of us affectionately call it band camp. I've heard people say that. But it's like, it is work. You know, I come back from these festivals and my wife, Caitlin, will tell you that I am, and I know you guys know, just burned out. And quite often I get back at midnight and I'm at the office at 8 the next morning, bleary-eyed and sad. And anyway, so yeah, it's not, you know, and there are many one-time people. In fact, we should look that up sometime. How many one-timers are there at the festivals? You know, it's not for everybody.
Right.
And I can think of a couple people in particular who came once and were brilliant. And it seemed like, wow, that's a gem. And then they just never came back. And it's because it's an intense process. And, you know, I mean, just the physicality of being trapped in this tiny motel with 40 people, you know, and maybe a roommate you just met, and, you know, it's intense.
I mean, the festivals are mentally, physically, spiritually, and creatively demanding.
Yep.
And draining and fulfilling at the same time. But yeah, at the end of 7 days, you're just going to be a mix of mush all around.
We like to say the bottle knows. You spin the bottle, you get the people, that the bottle felt you needed to get. If you want to get woo-woo about it.
Trust the bottle.
Trust the bottle. But if you get 3 bad spins, and by bad spins, I mean just for whatever reason, not even necessarily spins. Bad, people or just a bad mix or whatever, but just, it's just the way it goes. You could have 3 very trying experiences in a row in that week. And then maybe you love the songs, maybe you don't, and then you got to play them. You know what I mean? Like if you don't hit your zen, it could be like more like boot camp than song camp.
And band camp, yeah. But how many times, given those experiences, do you realize at some point after the fact, like what the lessons were, or how you grew as a result?
Absolutely.
For me, I don't feel like it's ever been like an effort to figure it out. It sort of is a dawning moment where I'm just like, okay, yeah.
See, I have to put effort into it. I've had to. I've had moments where the spins, just for whatever reason, some of them were, it's not that they were bad, but they weren't easy. And at the end of it, I was like, what am I doing? What happened? And a lot of it was like expectation going in. So I had to stumble across like my own epiphany, and like you're saying, Carly, the dawning of like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to get out of it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's hard to do it when you're in it. Sometimes it's afterwards, and you adjust accordingly.
I think you touched on something too that is really helpful to keep in mind for newcomers and for veterans alike, is just the release of expectations going in.
Yeah.
Because that will kill any sort of little nascent fledgling song idea. It'll just, you can't, these things there's so many variables at play. You can't really predict how it's going to go down, and it would be a fool's errand to try. And every time that I've reminded myself of that, it exceeds any expectations I feel like I would have brought into it anyway.
Right.
So
Jim wants to play a song that I'm a fan of as well.
Mm-hmm, me too.
Breaking My Heart Over You.
Is it Breaking My Heart or Ain't Breaking My Heart?
You know what? I'm not sure on the exact title. I've just always called it Ain't Breaking My Heart Over You.
I thought it was Ain't too, but the spreadsheet disagrees. But anyway.
But this was, let's see, Ain't Breaking My Heart Over You was from Love on Holiday 2017. And it's available on Love on Holiday Volume 6. It's written by James Hall, Greg Rotek, and Alex Wilson. What were your thoughts about this song, Jim? What made you pick it?
If memory serves correct, I was not even there. What did you say it was? What year? It was
2017.
20. Yeah, I don't think I was there for that one. But yeah, so my thoughts on this song are just that it is just, what James actually likes to call bulletproof. It's just I don't know how much we want to talk about it before we hear it, but it boils down the sentiment to its essence and then walks through, verse, chorus, and then
that bridge.
Powerful bridge. And then the prestige, like the equivalent of the prestige in magic, is when you come out of the bridge and back into the chorus, and then you really see, is this a great chorus? Because we just,
right.
Then Anyway, I get goosebumps just talking about it.
I just got goosebumps with you describing it.
Yeah. This is definitely a world-class tune, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
All right, here we go.
Breaking My Heart Over You.
When you're tired and weak and dead on your feet, walking home from the dark side of town, I'll bring coffee at dawn, a coat that is warm, and good news whenever you're down. If you just can't defend all your good time and friends who leave as the first teardrops fall, I'll try to be true, try to be there for you, to lend you a hand and call. But I ain't breaking my heart over you. I ain't breaking my heart over you. letting you know I ain't breaking my heart over you. You've got skin in the game and a hand in the flame. You're telling me you just paid dues, but you're still betting high every roll of the dice on people that want you to lose. If you're trailing behind and you're troubling mind, as you worry, all hope is lost. I'll post the bail when you end up in jail. You know it don't matter the cost, but I ain't breaking my heart over you. I ain't breaking my heart over you. Oh, I still love you so. I'm just letting you know I ain't breaking my heart over you. There was a time that I let you mess with my head, and there was a time when I wished you were dead. But I ain't breaking my heart over you. I ain't breaking my heart over you. Though I still love you so, I'm just letting you know I ain't breaking my heart over you.
I don't know how long that track is, but it definitely has the feel of an old school, 2 minute 46 seconds kind of a track.
3:15 if you want to
Yeah.
nerd out. But yeah, it's just a great example of just perfect songwriting.
Yeah.
Form, structure, like just the melodic movement that touches you. You know? I mean, and that's even without listening to the words. And then you listen to the words, and that's just a whole nother layer.
It touches all the bases of like, classic American song structure, or what I think of, that you're not necessarily thinking of, but it stays to that form to suspend your disbelief or whatever, and then just layers on top of it. But yeah, just lots of really good calls in that song. And I don't know what the process was like. I'd like to talk to James about it sometime, actually.
The thing that kills me about that song is just like how honest it is about the complexities of romantic entanglement, where it's just like, I will go to the ends of the earth for you, but I'm not going to let you break me. If anything happens, like, I'm going to be fine. But, it's just just the juxtaposition of that feeling is just what always is like, oh God.
I love you, but I'm not going down with you.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And it takes that idea of tough love and trying not to find yourself being the enabler in a situation, whatever. And it to say, I ain't breaking my heart over you is a conversational translation to all those buzzwords of that sort of codependent no more pop, right? Pop psych kind of stuff, right? Not that stuff is great. I mean, it has had a big impact on our culture, but to turn that into a song that doesn't sound teachy, but it really is one man pouring his heart out. That like, and so I ain't breaking my heart over you is a way to say all that, but then to just let it rip and tear open the wound on the bridge and say, there's times I wish you were dead. Like just getting real. And then because of the way he tears it open on that bridge, when you come back to the chorus, it now has a little bit of a different meaning. Like there's a little more love in it than frustration. It's like, yeah, I can go there. I can be literally hate you.
Yeah, I am capable of going this far.
but I ain't breaking my heart over you. But in that, I love you. You know, like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's a great choice.
Yeah, everyone needs to have their line in the sand.
Yeah.
And know what it is and be willing to say, okay, this is too far, but everyone could use a little bit of that these days.
No doubt.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that was a good opening gambit there, McIver.
Yeah, I like that.
That's
good
a
work.
good song, man.
All right.
I'm going to play a little song called A Man and His Bridge. Let's see, that was Steelbridge Songfest 2017, written by Jerry X, Steve Hamilton. And I just remember hearing it at listening and just thinking it was a beautiful song. And I just want everyone to hear it.
And let's just take a minute, because I think in all of this, so we're on episode 4, technically episode 5 of this endeavor that we're doing. And we haven't really talked about Pat McDonald specifically yet, but he's the fulcrum. He's like the node.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, you know, he's the creative director of the festivals. He curates who's invited to participate. And, you know, I think he's got, I mean, impeccable taste. But
yeah, he's the final filter. I call it the Pat filter. Because if you're ever stuck on a song, or if you're not sure about a lyric 100% or a part, you play it for Pat, and if it's not right, he'll catch it. And it's the trust in that filter that's important, I believe.
It's definitely, like, there are only 1 or 2 examples that I can think of where I thought maybe he was not correct. But 99% of the time, he's just great when he suggests a fix. And that's the thing that we should probably explain, because you have to, before you can take a song into the studio, you do have to get his approval. Because he's the creative director and he's sort of, you know, has a knack
executive producer
for fixing things, you know, weak points in a song. And at first, sometimes you're like, I don't think that's a weak point. And then in hindsight, no, it completely was. And he was right. So he's sort of just like the guy in the middle of this crazy creative hurricane. And so this song is tribute to that, I guess.
Simple, and it gets to the point.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So A Man and His Bridge.
Let's have a listen.
Check it out.
This is a song about a man and his bridge. This is a song about a man and his bridge, who brought all his friends to protest. And we were all upset that the men in his bridge weren't safe. The only way that I can tell the truth is when I'm here and a little drunk. I'll be the first to admit, I know all of you have heard me write this shit. But let's be honest, none of this makes sense. I come here and have to boss around my friends. It's therapy at best for me. You return all the love. You return all the love that's been beaten out of me. And I've been coming here for 10 years and some change. As an advocate to save a bridge. And if you ask me how I feel about it all, I'd tell you it's was my most important role. This is a song about a man in his bridge.
That was A Man in His Bridge from Steel Bridge 2017 on volume 13. Yeah.
Such a good song. Just such a good song.
Beautiful. Yeah, Jerry's very good at sketching an emotion that she's feeling, and then just talk about getting out of your own way. Like, she just tells it like it is, and it can be very powerful, like on that one.
I just want to also point out, looking at this spreadsheet of information, for as poignant and heartfelt of a song as that was, the performers are listed as Jerry X on guitar and vocals and Steve Hamilton on butts with a smiley face.
On butts?
Butts.
Yeah.
A little moment of levity.
All right, so we've got one more song in our regular playlist. It is a McIver pick. And it is what? It is what? Tell us.
This song is called Witchcraft.
Yes.
Ooh, I like the name.
And how much do I talk about now and how much after?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, whatever. Just okay. Yeah, what's up with this song? Because you're a co-writer on it?
Yeah, and actually this is I wanted to start a fixture of the festivals with sort of being born out of this song, which was the Speed Riot. And this was Dark Songs 2012, if I'm not mistaken. And I'd gotten this idea that, you know, sometimes, like, you know how you just long for a quick write sometimes? And I thought, well, let's just manufacture that. Let's make that a constraint. And much to my delight, Vincent Gates, Victoria Vox, and James Hall were all available. I was like, song, 30 minutes, speed write, let's do it.
Amazing.
And we got in the room and I started the timer, and then I just have this image of James holding out the neck of his guitar and just singing Witchcraft. Like, I think he'd kind of had it in his mind that he wanted to do a song called that, maybe, because, you know, James always has the junk drawer of ideas. And then he just started playing that riff, which is, you know, kind of reminiscent of the jam town called Malice, but really more so a Motown kind of a riff. And the line just came in my head, "You're so sexy in that black cone hat."
That's so brilliant.
And then it was just one of those moments where, like, you sing it and then everybody else just starts throwing in great lines, and the song really, the bones of it were done in 30 minutes for sure. We ended up polishing it a little bit and it took an hour, but it truly was a speed write.
It's so great. We'll hear it, you know, in a minute, but every line is just used to maximum effect. There's not a word wasted in that song.
We really were in the spirit very much of Halloween, and just pulling out touching on all the things that you could. Yeah, I love this song. This is one of those ones that, like, subsequently, like, you've learned it, Carly, and there's been several different lineups that have performed it live.
I remember
after parties.
We that one Dark Songs, we played it in the lobby afterwards while people were exiting the theater. And I was playing it on the accordion. I think I was dressed as Cleopatra.
From Dark Songs Volume 4, Dark Songs 2012, this is Witchcraft.
You're so sexy in your black cone hat. Oh, witchcraft. And I wanna pet your pussy cat. Oh, witchcraft. Look into your crystal ball. Let me be your voodoo doll. I will take you once and all the way. Scene. Gaze into your eyes so green. Cast your evil spell and make me stay. Witchcraft. Oh, witchcraft. Oh, witchcraft. Oh, witchcraft.
That was Witchcraft. Oh, Witchcraft. It's so catchy. Dark Songs Volume 4, 2012. Jimm McIver, James Hall, Vincent Gates, and Victoria Vox. Bunch of powerhouses on that song.
I don't think we had any guest artists on that, did we?
You
It
did.
was just us.
V Sonnets on electric guitar and Pat McDonald on bass.
Right. Oh, that's right. That's right, because we recorded it without a rhythm section, and then Pat added that bass like later after the festival. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good choice by him, because it did need something to kind of hold down the backbone.
And you know it's a good song when it ends up being a staple of the late night diner jams.
Yeah.
I think Witchcraft is in that
100%.
pile,
For sure. Yeah, James will always break that one out.
Oh, good times. All right, so guess what time it is now?
What time is it?
It's time to spill the beans.
Woo!
So we do this thing called Spill the Beans, where we chart the evolution of a song from inception to execution to evolution. Listen to voice memos, and then the recording as it stands in the holiday archives, and then occasionally, if we're lucky, we get to hear how the song takes shape outside of the realm of the holiday. These songs go out and sort of inhabit lives of their own, and that's what this segment's all about. Jimm McIver, you've got one for us today.
Yeah, this is a tune from my first Dark Songs, 2011, and this was a big one for me because my mom passed away in April of 2006, and I had not, and I was kind of like, music was, I just didn't have a lot, because actually my mom passed away, and then I had my oldest son, and so I just didn't have as much time for music, but it was odd that I didn't write a song about it for 5 years. About my mom passing. I just couldn't get it out, and then this one came along, so it's always meant a lot to me because of that, but also the experience at the festival and how it sort of came to be. So I went and had breakfast at the Steelbridge Cafe earlier in the week at Dark Songs. I don't remember who else was there. Maybe it was definitely Andrea and Mike Black and maybe Adrian Hatkin. I don't remember who all was there, but we were just talking, and at one point we kind of started talking about the whole Sixth Sense thing, of what if you were dead and you didn't know it. And then Andrea it was like a moment in a musical. Like, she just all of a sudden sang, "I wonder if she knows she's really a ghost." And then I went back to my room after breakfast, and a lot of what became the song just kind of poured out. I mean, definitely the lyric and sentiment, and I knew I was writing about my mom, and I was, I can't say there have been very many songs where I'm crying while I'm writing it, but this was definitely that. And then I ended up, of course, bringing it back to Andrea, since it was her hook, and then James got involved, and it was just a really great write, and both of those guys really kind of took it on as that it was special to me, and was kind of carefully crafted and whatever. And I wanted to, like, before we listen, well, maybe I'll do, you know what, I think I'm going to do it after we listen to it, just because I want to illustrate a couple of the points of evolution of the song. But James came in and made a change to the chorus that was key. It went from kind of a droney heart-wrencher to like a legitimate pop chorus.
Why don't you do it now?
Okay, I guess I can. Okay, so the chorus that we're going to hear, I wonder if she knows she's really a ghost when she's roaming around this spooky old town. I see her on a bridge, she's making a wish, such an innocent glow wherever she goes. I wonder if she knows. But when I wrote it, I was playing this chord progression all the way through, which is the verse, which is Sunday's girl, fair of face, taken far too soon. one late spring day. Anyway, but so eventually I get to the chorus, but instead of the chorus as this is now, I was singing. I'm a big fan of Robin Hitchcock, and I was sort of in the mind of him on the chorus, and I just kept going on that chord progression. I wonder if she knows she's really a ghost when she's roaming around. You know, almost like an Al Stewart thing or something. Spooky old town. And James was just like, and James will do this sometimes when you're writing it. Well, he'll just call it like it is. Like what? Like, why are you playing it like, you know? And then he's just like, how about this? I wonder if she knows she's really a ghost when she's roaming around. No, sorry. Yeah. Ghost, she's really a ghost when she's roaming around this spooky old town. And suddenly now we've got a chorus, right? And it would have never occurred to me. So shout out for collaboration, like just a fresh set of eyes. And at first I was like, oh, that can't be right. It's too, it's too much. But yeah. And then Andrew was like, oh yeah, you're doubling the harmonic rhythm, I think was the
music nerd.
Yeah, music nerd. But now, like, that has been such a gift. Like, I've done that on several songs since then, where it's a trick. You know, if you got your chord progression and you don't know what other chord to go to, maybe your chorus is just the double time of the verse. It's a good trick for all you songwriters out there.
It's a great trick because it keeps it in the chord family. You know, it keeps it familiar. Yeah. You're not introducing anything out of place.
That's another thing that's great, like being my age at these festivals, is it's like, it's easy to just kick the can down the road and not learn new things because you're set in your ways or whatever. And you cannot do that and be successful at these festivals. Like, well, also you're surrounded by all these brilliant players and writers, so you'd be a fool not to. But this is one of those moments where it was like, you really ended up going to school with a couple of really great writers. And I just to call out, like, Andrea and I have been friends since '99, and we played together for 10 years. We had a little a gig at a restaurant in Seattle. What do you call that when you play at the same place
Residency.
all the time? Residency. We played a couple times a month for like 6 years. But we never, and with and Vince and Andrea and I, and we never wrote together really. We just played each other's songs and backed each other's up. So it was like, at that point, a friend of 10 years, and suddenly we start writing together. So
that's so
another great thing.
Well, let's check out the version recorded in 2011 that came out on Dark Songs Volume 3. And this has James on guitar, you on vocals, Andrea Witkins on vocals, V Sonnets on guitar, Rick Wood on guitar, and
and I want to shout
Steve
out that
Smith on bass.
Rick and V just sort of came up with that Allman Brothers guitar sort of harmony thing, and it really it ends up being a key part of the tune.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's check it out.
Some days, girl, fair of face, taken far too soon. One late spring day, 3 a.m. Phone rings, but it can't be true. Please don't say it again. I wonder if she knows she's really a ghost when she's roaming around the spooky old town. I see her on a bridge, she's making a wish, such an innocent glow. Wherever she goes, I wonder if she knows. Maybe she's lost, maybe in between two beautiful worlds.
places I've never been. But when the gloaming comes, and if the light's just right, maybe if I squint, baby, I'll see you tonight. I wonder if she knows she's really a ghost when she's roaming around this spooky old town. I see her on a bridge, she's making a wish, such an innocent glow. Wherever she goes, I wonder if she knows. And some days I go walking in the rain for hours and hours, just hoping to see you again and tell you I miss you, Mary Ann.
Steel Bridge Cafe, where that first hook jumped out. Not there anymore.
No.
You can't bottle and recapture the magic. So that version was recorded by Billy Triplett.
Billy, yeah. R.I.P.
So after this festival, you took this song and did a solo version as well, too.
Yeah, my last
Your
record. Produced by Vincent Gates and V Sonnets, who's also plays on that. Him and Rick Wood doing the twin harmonies there. Yeah, that's been a stalwart in my set. I play that. If I play that song usually. So, and yeah, the song on the record is much more produced, and maybe we're going to hear that later. But yeah, it's got bass and drums and lots of harmonies and stuff.
So did you go in to this solo record and recording this song, did you have specific things you wanted to do different, or just see what that combination of people would do?
Yeah, I mean,
with
actually going into it, I was like, that recording was so dear to me. I thought about just releasing that version and maybe adding some stuff to it. But you know how that is. Once you start creating an album and you got a whole group of people, like, to just shove in another song, it's just doesn't, I don't know. To me, that usually ends up not working. I really just, once we decided to re-record it, I just sort of let go of it and let Vince and V kind of make the calls on it. But yeah, I was very pleased with that version too. But as far as like the demo of a song, that Dark Songs version at the Holiday, it holds up pretty good, I think.
So let's check out the version that you released on your album Sunlight Reaches. And what year was that? Did that come out? 2015?
15, that's right.
This is I Wonder If She Knows.
Too soon, one late spring day, 3 a.m. The phone rings. No, it can't be true. Please don't say it again. I wonder if she knows she's really a ghost when she's roaming around this spooky old town. I see her on a bridge, she's making a wish, such an innocent glow. Wherever she goes, I wonder if she knows. Maybe she's lost, maybe in between.
playing these exterior songs from outside the festival, like that's the fruit of it.
Yeah.
You know, that of all this work that we do, you know, it's great that there's already 1,300 songs that are written and already recorded.
Yeah.
You know, but then seeing those little steps where the song just kind of grows outside of us, you know, because now at this point anyone can take the song, not even a songwriter, but just a fan, and do versions of it, you know, and just watch that spread. So welcome aboard, Jimm.
Yeah.
It has been a pleasure.
Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for starting this whole thing, you guys, but also thank you for including me, and I can't wait to hear the other ones.
All right. Well, this has been another fabulous episode of Early Risers Club Presents.
Special guest Jimm McIver. Thanks for hanging out.
Oh, it's been my pleasure.
All right. This is the part where I say that Early Risers Club Presents is brought to you by the Holiday Music Motel in beautiful Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, and by SteelBridgeRadio.com. And that's a wrap, folks.
It's a wrap.